Good morning and welcome to our Sunday community meditation gathering. My name is Sarah and I usually come to Saturday. I'm happy to see you all here on a Sunday and be surrounded with our community, friends, and family. Now let us begin our practice together by reading the essential dharmas of daily practice on page 11. The essential dharmas of daily practice. The mind is originally free from disturbance, but disturbances arise in response to sensory conditions. Let us restore the equanimity of our true nature by letting go of disturbances. The mind is originally free from delusion, but delusions arise in response to sensory conditions. Let us restore the wisdom of our true nature by letting go of delusions. The mind is originally free from wrongdoing, but wrongdoings arise in response to sensory conditions. Let us restore the precepts of our true nature by letting go of wrongdoings. Let us replace disbelief, greed, laziness, and ignorance with belief, zeal, questioning, and dedication. Let us turn resentment into gratitude. Let us turn dependence.
Let us turn reluctance to learn into willingness to learn well. Let us turn reluctance to teach into willingness to teach well. Let us turn lack of public spirit into eagerness to serve the good of all.
She can continue, it's okay. Good morning, everyone. Both here, everyone take a step forward, teacher mats. That'll help folks this morning, we've had so much cold weather. We're going to do some stretching to warm up our bodies. Let's begin by putting your feet shoulder width apart. And just pause for a minute. Feel how your feet and your weight connect to the ground. And now just begin to move a little bit. Keep your legs straight, body straight, just like a tree in the wind. Slowly shifting forward, backward. And then gently just make those movements a little smaller and find that true center where it's almost effortless. Now, we're going to begin with our feet and work our way up to our heads. So shift your weight to one side. On the side that doesn't have much weight, those toes, you can bring them up, kind of turn your ankle, and you can actually flip your toes onto the ground. Oh, I hear lots of cranking ankles. And just twist back and forth. You get a nice stretch on the top of your foot. And put that foot down, shift our weight. Other foot. Curl your toes, twist. Very nice. Back. Now we're going to give our knees some TLC. How we're going to do that is one foot stays here, the other foot, our heel comes to the ground, kind of at a diagonal. We're going to rub our hands. They get nice and warm. Then lean over. Give your knee a nice massage all around the patella, back. Very good. And come back up, same thing. Shift your weight, heel down, toes up, rub your hands. And massage. Very nice. Coming back, our feet are still shoulder width. We're going to put our hands on our knees and draw circles. First, going in an outward motion. Let your feet move as they need. Breathing in and out as you move. One more time, and then we'll go in the opposite direction. Very good. Come up. Step a little bit farther apart. Your feet will go at a slight angle, and that's okay. We're going to draw circles with our hips. So you can imagine your tailbone is like a paintbrush, and you're going to be drawing circles. So slowly, all the way around. Our head and torso are pretty still. It's really our hips that are moving. One more time, and then switch direction. Okay, coming back up. Feet return under our shoulders. We're going to do some twists. So just gently keep your hips forward, twist your torso. This way you'll get a nice twist along your waist. And if you want to go a little farther out, just make sure there's space between you and your friends. Arms can really swing. And gently bring it back. For our shoulders, we're going to start here and do circles. Going back. Just do anything that feels comfortable. If this doesn't feel comfortable or anything, just modify it. Okay. One more time, and then we're going to switch direction. Backwards. From here, let's bring our arms out. Both palms are facing up, but now we're going to twist our shoulders and palms. So take one and go back, and the other one, go the opposite. So you're stretched and then pull out. You're really feeling a twist. And then slowly turn to the opposite. And pull and twist, looking at that palm that's facing up. One more time on each side. Last side. And down. Shake it out. Now as we move to our head and neck, we're going to start by placing our fingers behind our backs like this. We're going to do some just gentle ear to shoulder on either side. Rest and just gently sink into that stretch. And then come up and go to the other side. Back and forth, breathing in, releasing any tension. Going to the other side, stretching and releasing. With our hands still behind us, we're going to do complete neck rotation. Begin with your chin down, and then slowly bring it up and around as you breathe in to the back. And release your breath as you complete that circle. And go in the other direction. One more time on each side. Very good. Let's move our legs apart. We're going to take a breath in, bring our hands up, turn, face up to the ceiling, up to the sky, stretch, release, and come down. Bend your knees a little bit when you come down. Breathing in, stretch up. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Release. Coming down. One more time. Stretching up. Release. Coming down. And we're going to do a circle with our body. Arms up. Bend from the hips as much as is comfortable. Create a ball, a circle with your arms like you're holding an energy ball. Then come up to one side, breathing in, and release your breath, coming down. Go in the opposite direction, coming up, breathing in, and breathing out. One more time. Last time. Slowly come up, bending your back, vertebra by vertebra. Palms up and down. Now, let's place our feet together. This morning, we're going to be doing 10 direction bowing. And so this is a standing bowing meditation. And we do that by having our feet together. And when you breathe in, your arms come up, palms together, come down to heart center, and then just bend from your hips as much as you can. Release and come back up. One more time. Breathing in, palms together, down to heart center. Very good. So make sure you're now standing behind your mat or wherever you need. You can bow freely. Maybe step up just a little bit more for friends in the back. Thank you.
For our Qi Gong practice this morning, we invite you to join us in 10 direction bowing. In Buddhism, the term 10 directions is a poetic way to refer to all directions in the universe. First, plant your feet firmly on the floor. You are the very center of the universe. Through 10 direction bowing, we honor all phenomenal and non-phenomenal realms. We are first going to bow to the heavens above and the earth beneath, and then we will bow in all 8 cardinal directions by slowly turning to each direction. As you bow, notice the rhythm of your breath and the movement of your body. Stretch and relax, stretch and relax. Let's begin by facing northwest. The big half-circle window is facing south. The gold Ilwan Song circle above the altar is facing east. So the small circle window is north, and the cubby with the green cushions is northwest. Please turn to the northwest. We will first face this direction as we bow to heaven and earth. Bowing to heaven, my mind and heart is renewed. Bowing to earth, my body is strengthened. To the northwest, I send loving compassion and healing. To the north, I send loving compassion and healing. To the northeast, I send loving compassion and healing. To the east, I send loving compassion and healing. To the southeast, I send loving compassion and healing. To the south, I send loving compassion and healing. To the southwest, I send loving compassion and healing. To the west, I send loving compassion and healing. You are now invited to sit down as we prepare ourselves for meditation.
am grateful. I am grateful to be here now. I am grateful to be able to pause. When I practice together with the friends, it becomes more powerful. It becomes more supported. I am grateful to have friends who are willing to sit, pause, and cultivate our bright, pure spirit, here in person and online. Let us go back to our sitting body, making sure our body feels comfortable. If you like, gently rock your body from side to side, forward or backwards. Make sure your pelvic floor feels right, comfortable, almost flat as much as you can. Little by little, feel free to readjust your sitting body as needed. And scan your whole body from head down to your neck, down to your back, down to your pelvic floor, knees, legs, and feet. Already you can feel the aligned Qi energy or aligned bodily energy. You may feel gentle pressure from your pelvic floor that touches your mat, chair, or bench. Feel your strong support from your lumbar 4 and 5, lower back, connected with the earth. Gently open your heart and chest. Little bit more, then relax your heart, relax your back. Now be aware of any tension, any stiffness on your shoulders. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Release away any tension from your shoulders. Through these wintry days, there is always a ray of sunlight. Through your softly opened or closed eyes, connect with the soft, bright winter sunlight. Breathe that ray of light into your body, into your spirit. You can imagine. Connect the bright light outside and inside through breathing and by simply being here now together.
Youngju, page 4. Youngju, Chunji Anki Ashim Jong, Mansayo E Ashim Tong, Chunji O Adong Ilche, Ayo Chunji Don Shim Jong, Chunji Anki Ashim Jong, Mansayo E Ashim Tong, Chunji O Adong Ilche, Ayo Chunji Don Shim Jong, Chunji Anki Ashim Jong, Mansayo E Ashim Tong, Chunji O Adong Ilche, Ayo Chunji Don Shim Jong, Chunji Anki Ashim Jong, Mansayo E Ashim Tong, Chunji O Adong Ilche, Ayo Chunji Don Shim Jong, Chunji Anki Ashim Jong, Mansayo E Ashim Tong, Chunji O Adong Ilche, Ayo Chunji Don Shim Jong, Chunji Anki Ashim Jong, Mansayo E Ashim Tong, Chunji O Adong Ilche, Ayo Chunji Don Shim Jong, Chunji Anki Ashim Jong, Mansayo E Ashim Tong, Chunji O Adong Ilche, Ayo Chunji Don Shim Jong, Chunji Anki Ashim Jong, Mansayo E Ashim Tong, Chunji O Adong Ilche, Ayo Chunji Don Shim Jong, Chunji Anki Ashim Jong, Mansayo E Ashim Tong, Chunji O Adong Ilche, Ayo Chunji Don Shim Jong.
Prayer for world peace. Grace of heaven and earth,
Grace of parents, grace of fellow beings, grace of laws. O Dharmakaya Buddha, fourfold grace, may we take refuge in Dharma and be filled with compassion and wisdom. May we transform delusion into wisdom, greed into generosity, resentment into gratitude, discord into harmony, and hatred into compassion. May all nations grow and benefit mutually. May the strong help the weak, and may the weak learn and evolve according to Dharma. May all those who have died from world conflicts and disasters be delivered through all obstacles and be at rest. May there be peace throughout the world, and may all beings enjoy the tranquility and happiness, living in their original true nature. This we pray with our whole hearts.
The world, where my feet walk on the earth, where my voice echoes through the hills,
and in all realms where my heart and mind reach, that we all together share a true affinity for attaining great enlightenment and for helping all living beings.
Sutra chanting today, page 11. Essential Dharmas of daily practice. We are going to chant the first verse, 1, for a while. You can join us chanting together, or you can also listen in. The mind is originally free from disturbance, but disturbances arise in response to sensory conditions. Let us restore the equanimity of our true nature by letting go of disturbances. The mind is originally free from disturbance, but disturbances arise in response to sensory conditions. Let us restore the equanimity of our true nature by letting go of disturbances. The mind is originally free from disturbance, but disturbances arise in response to sensory conditions. Let us restore the equanimity of our true nature by letting go of disturbances. The mind is originally free from disturbance, but disturbances arise in response to sensory conditions. Let us restore the equanimity of our true nature by letting go of disturbance. The mind is originally free from disturbance, but disturbances arise in response to sensory conditions. Let us restore the equanimity of our true nature by letting go of disturbances.
This morning, our good and longtime temple friend, Pete Warshaw, Wan J. Ho, will be sharing his Dharma talk about equanimity in difficult times. The title of his talk is, "Oh well, now what?" Oh well, now what? Learning to practice equanimity. Let us warmly welcome Pete and practice deep listening.
Good morning. Last New Year's Eve, I sat in this Dharma hall and participated in our annual letting go ceremony. How many of you were there? Yeah, many of you. Great. I love this ceremony, and I've done it for over 10 years. Each year, it encourages me to pause, to reflect on the past year, and to set my gaze on my intentions for the upcoming months. This year, I settled on equanimity as a focus for 2025. Learning more about what it is and isn't, becoming more attuned to the conditions where I do and I do not apply it, and finding ways to extend my practice through equanimity. Nothing like setting a high bar, right? So it's been almost a month since that ceremony. In case you're wondering, I'm not finished yet. But I'd like to take a few minutes to describe my early steps and where I think I'm headed. What is equanimity? My first stop was to the temple's YouTube channel to watch a wonderful Dharma talk that our temple friend, Patty Daniel, sitting right here, gave a year and a half ago, The Power of Equanimity, and I encourage you to watch it. Excuse me. Patty did a great job describing what equanimity is and is not. Here are some of her comments. Equanimity is mental balance, the ability to experience our trials and tribulations without constantly striving to change our external circumstances. Being free from judgments, prejudices, and disturbances, not fixating on our thoughts and feelings. As Gil Fronsdale wrote, equanimity is the capacity to not be caught up with what happens to us. The key here, I think, is not being caught up. In traditional Buddhist thought, equanimity is one of the four supreme emotions, or in Sanskrit, Brahmavaras, along with loving kindness, compassion, and sympathetic joy. It's right up there at the top. In her Dharma talk, Patty added that equanimity is sometimes confused with suppression of feelings, apathy, passivity, or a lack of expansiveness. She quotes Master Sote-san, our founding master, who said, "It is not my instruction to have you eliminate by force your feelings of joy or anger, sorrow or happiness. Rather, I urge you to exercise your free frame of mind without constraint by applying joy, anger, sorrow, and happiness properly, according to time and place, only making sure that you do not diverge from the middle way. Apply my emotions properly and not diverge from the middle way." The middle way is described by Jack Kornfield as the middle ground between attainment and aversion, between being and non-being, between form and emptiness, between free will and determinism, much more than being passive and suppressed. We chanted earlier in the Essential Dharmas of Daily Practice, quite a coincidence, the mind is originally free from disturbance, but disturbances arise in response to sensory conditions. Let us maintain the equanimity of our true nature by letting go of these disturbances. Equanimity of our true nature. This is a challenging concept for many practitioners, including me. True nature, or true self, centers on the deepest concepts of Buddhism. The original mind ground, beyond words and speech, no disturbances, no duality, no self. It's more than feeling temporarily calm. Unpacking all of this has given me some insights into how equanimity connects to my well-being and can, over time, lead me back to my true self, even for only a glimpse. I am born with my true self, my true nature. It does not go away, but it can be repressed. As a sentient being, I continually receive messages via my six senses. How I interpret them is what defines consistency or inconsistency with my true nature. When I create stories or attachments around those sensory messages and then respond to those stories as real, my true nature becomes clouded and subverted. Disturbances reign. But if I can look at those sensory messages through equanimity, by accepting the world as it is, by following the middle way, I can let go of those disturbances and be acquainted, at least for a moment, with my true nature. Equanimity then allows me to make mindful choices in action, an element of what we call the threefold practice, in a way that is consistent with my true self, not from a fabricated disturbance. Well, that's worth working on. So, how am I doing? Well, let me describe a recent experience that may illustrate my journey thus far. A couple of weeks ago, I attended a dinner party given by a friend of a friend. It was a pretty formal affair, and my friend was the only one I knew at the table. Sitting next to me was a man, I'll call Bob, who enjoyed holding court for most of the meal. In just a few sentences, he expressed delight that his town had kept out the riffraff, meaning African Americans and poor people, that every Democrat was an idiot, and that President Biden should be arrested, and how terrible it was that people with dementia should be locked up as if they were in jail. None of the others at the table, including those who knew him, said anything. Nor did I. But I was fuming. For the next 2 days, I fantasized what I could have said to Bob to put him in his place. My intention in my fantasy was to skewer him. Then I stopped myself. It hit me that I was being as self-righteous as Bob had been. Yes, his speech carried hate, but I realized that underlying it was fear. Fear of losing what he had come to value and believe in. As I continued to reflect on this, his presumed power over me faded away. Presumed power because the disturbances I felt from his speech were of my own making, not his. I had lost my mental balance, my equanimity. I had continued to grasp and cling rather than accept his world view as his, even as I strongly disagreed with it. I started to rewind the mental tape that I had created during and after the party. I asked myself how I might have responded with equanimity instead of wanting to skewer him. Following Sotaesan's teachings, how could I have exercised my free frame of mind without constraint by applying my feelings properly according to time and place? I reflected on this for several more days and came up with some possible responses that might have encircled at least equanimity. I could have mindfully chosen silence, but not with steam coming out from my collar, but with acceptance that his speech was just speech, that I could choose to ignore the hostility because fundamentally his words could not harm me. I could have truly felt curious about his opinions and feelings, and about where they had come from, especially since they reflected those of many people in North Carolina. Curious to understand, not to engage in a debate that I needed to win. I could have released my emotions by exhaling and saying, wow, again with no agenda beyond that expression. I could have further strengthened my commitment to support social justice issues in the broader spectrum of my community, but not at the table. Since then, I have increasingly noticed how often I attach disturbances to sensory conditions and thereby lose my equanimity. Learning to bring it back has been a worthy, if challenging, effort. I've found a few ways that are helping me move forward. One is to reflect on the times I've created a story that isn't there, small and large, positive and negative. Such as when I convinced myself that I wouldn't like the taste of oatmeal before tasting it. Or imagining what I would buy when my lottery ticket paid off. Coming up with all the things that would go wrong as I planned to photograph a full moon. Attributing intentionality when someone bumps into me on a crowded platform but doesn't say they're sorry. Feeling dismissive of anyone who votes for the wrong candidate. Wishing I could fix a friend's sorrow. It's a long list. By monitoring past occurrences, I think I'll eventually become more mindful as they occur. Another practice that I've found to be helpful is meditation. Even when my monkey mind is jumping around, as it did a few minutes ago, it's the deepest state of equanimity I've found. I concentrate on noticing through my senses and stopping there, or at least returning to a calm state. And here's a mantra I've created that I found helps transport me from my world of attached disturbance toward equanimity. When my senses start firing and my mind starts to spiral, I stop, take a breath, and say to myself, oh well. This helps me pause and release my urge to rise to the bait. And then after that pause, I add, now what? This leads me to mindfully explore the actions I could choose to take with equanimity. Oh well. Now what? Applying this mantra has been helpful to me. Maybe it will be helpful to you as well. So that's where I've come up. That's how far I've come up with so far. I anticipate that this will be a long journey and one worth being on. Thank you for allowing me to share these first few steps with you. Kamsahamnida.
Thank you, Pete, for these insightful reminders about equanimity and how it can be hard to access, but it's essential nature to accessing our true nature. Now, friends at home, it's a great time to pause and reflect and either share what you would like in the chat or just to pause on your own. Friends in the Dharma Hall, please pair up with somebody next to you and share your reflections on Pete's talk for the next few minutes.
the door handle pulls off. Yes, those things are important. One of the things I've just been thinking about, because for a long time, before sort of coming to this practice and really diving in, like I felt like I was in a tug of war constantly. I don't know if you could understand, like with everything that's outside. And finally I just said, I'm just gonna drop the rope. It is what it is. Like, let them. Daily practice, right? I think that's why most students are here. I recently had one come back, so my 22-year-old back. It's hard to just sit back and watch, though, that we, someone who lies, and you just kind of be like, Sandra, step away. And as soon as you step away, you're like, wow, they hit the side of the
Thank you for your Dharma conversation. Talking about equanimity makes you feel excited. Thank you, Pete, for the wonderful talk. It's a wonderful, very beautiful practice journey together to cultivate a deep sense of equanimity, no matter what's happening in our lives or in the world. Right now, we have children meditating in our residence, guided by our volunteer teachers, Holly, and also teenager teacher, Stella, and other also young volunteers. If you like to be a volunteer for our children's program, please let us know. Anyone first time here in our temple? I see several of new friends, new faces. Raise your hands. Wow, big welcoming. Wonderful. We have to date 63 Buddhas in this room. And how many friends joining today?
We had about 60 online today.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, if you're new, I strongly invite you to fill out this form. We are still going with the digital, not the analog style. Analog style. I love to see some of your handwritings, and I want to know what's your hobbies and interests to get to know you more. And do you check our emails? Anyone actually read our emails? Thank you so much. That means a lot. Because our weekly temple work, the biggest part is creating our email. And I never send out email with my own draft. I usually ask a couple of temple friends, how does it sound? Is it okay? Grammar is okay? The sound's okay? The slide looks okay? The link works right? The date is correct? Time is correct? All those. So whenever we send one email, we put a lot of work and we put a lot of energy. And when I click send button, then I say, wow, like that. So simply reading the whole content of an email, or at least big titles, that means a lot to us. So please, new friends, fill out this form to be in our community email group. I just want to update about our recent special guest, Mother Reverend Chung Taonim and intern Reverend student Reverend Pine. They arrived South Korea home safe and sound yesterday. And I want to thank you deeply to each every of you. Those who had a time with her, those who didn't have direct time yet, creating this beautiful community, practice community, and the energy and spirit of a practice. She was deeply, deeply touched. Mother Reverend Chung Taonim was really like my mother since I was a teenager. And she's been nurturing us behind all this creation of a community. And then she was deeply moved, so happy to see this beautiful, wonderful, strong practice Dharma community. And I can see already she started to talk about us with our other retired reverends in that the senior retired convent, and then about 100 senior teachers living together, and then she'll talk about us. So please expect that our ears will be a little bit itchy for the next few weeks. Before we go to announcement, why don't we pause with the power meditation for 3 minutes. Let us take a deep breath in and breathe out. Breathe in, we can feel this joyful, bright energy from our temple practice community, including our beautiful Cloud Sangha practitioners who joined us online. If there are any worries or any anxiety about your planning mind or to-do list, let us take a deep breath in again and breathe out, release them for 3 minutes together. Pause in this wonderful vessel of equanimity.
How wonderful it's been to practice with you all today. This afternoon, our sister temple in Raleigh is inviting you to join a 4 p.m. gathering with warm heart, supple body Qi Gong, and peaceful meditation. We hope to see you there.
Qi Gong workshop. Would you like to explore mind-body practice in this new year? If so, you'll love Reverend Won Gong's 3-hour Qi Gong workshop at our Raleigh temple on Saturday, February 22nd. We'll spend the afternoon learning basic Qi Gong and Tai Chi forms that you can easily make part of your daily life, guided by Reverend Won Gong. Her accessible teaching style is perfect for beginners, as well as those who have been practicing for a while.
Everyone is also invited to join our weekly Thursday Dharma study sessions held at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m., either in person or online. Because we contemplate and discuss a new verse each week, everyone is always welcome. No prior experience or study is required. This week, we will read from verse 49 from the chapter on practice. These sessions are a helpful way to learn more about Won Buddhist teaching with Dharma friends.
For more meditation, you can join us here every day at 6:30 a.m. for early morning meditation. This is a great way to set the tone for the day. All are welcome.
A big thanks to everyone who offers their donations to support our temple. They make all our programs possible. If you are not already a regular sustaining donor, please consider becoming one this January, before the month ends. Your regular support is the wind beneath our wings. Now, let us turn to page 13 for our morning prayer song.
Dharmakaya Buddha, fourfold grace, I begin a new day in your presence. Today full of health and with peace of mind, may I walk along the path of the Buddha. Dharmakaya Buddha, fourfold grace, I begin a new day with your grace. Today gratefully and with gentle words, may I live in harmony with all those I meet. Dharmakaya Buddha, fourfold grace, I begin a new day with compassion. Today making the world a more loving place. May I do all that I can for one world.
Palms together, 합장. Let us bow to our wonderful, bright, true being. Breathe in and bow. And bow to our friends next to us. And bow to our friends online through the little camera next to Nick. Or waving hands. See you next week. 감사합니다.